All right, listen up. This is a Code Ninja security advisory. I'm issuing this critical threat intelligence explainer today because we are tracking a severe vulnerability deep within the core of the Apple ecosystem. As a white hat security researcher, my mission is coordinated vulnerability disclosure. We analyze the threat, we issue the intelligence, we force the vendor patch, and we give you the immediate mitigation steps you need to protect your perimeter. Disclosed to the National Vulnerability Database just days ago, today we are breaking down the zero-click kernel crisis, designated as CVE 2026-436668. Let's dive right into this intel.
Look closely at this number, 7.5. That is the CVSS version 3.1 base score assigned by CISA ADP for this exact vulnerability. In our world, a 7.5, that equates to a high-severity threat. This is not some theoretical exercise, and it's definitely not a backlog patching task. This metric means there is a present danger to the availability and stability of your infrastructure, and it demands immediate operational attention from your security teams.
So here is the bottom line up front. CVE 2026-43668 allows for zero-click network exploitation. And what does that mean for your perimeter? It means literally zero user interaction is required. A user doesn't need to click a shady link, they don't need to download a corrupted file, nothing. Furthermore, no authentication is needed. A remote attacker can exploit this flaw purely over the network, triggering unexpected system termination or completely corrupting kernel memory.
Here's the structure for today's mission briefing. We're going to cover the zero-day hook, conduct a quick comms check, map out the blast radius, execute the protocol for immediate mitigation, review threat detection and timelines, and wrap up with security ethics.
Section 1. The Zero-Day Hook.
Take a look at this quote straight from the official Apple Security Advisory. A remote attacker may be able to cause unexpected system termination or corrupt kernel memory. Look, when the vendor themselves is admitting that remote execution can reach the kernel level to cause a denial of service or corrupt memory, the stakes for your endpoint security are absolutely massive.
Section 2. Comms check and intelligence.
In this chaotic landscape of zero-day exploits and rapid vulnerability disclosures, information is literally your primary defense. So I have to ask, are your communication links secure? Are you actually receiving the intelligence you need to act before your network is compromised?
To ensure your safety and maintain a secure line for real-time threat intelligence, I need you to subscribe to @cybertech79 and enable notifications right now. Also, hit that like button on this explainer. Consider that your formal ACK, your acknowledgement of receipt for this critical security briefing. We need to know this intel is actually reaching the defenders out on the front lines.
Section 3. Blast radius and impact.
Okay, so the root cause of this whole crisis is classified as CWE 416, a use after free vulnerability. Let's break down the mechanics here. This is a memory corruption bug triggered by improper object lifetime management. Essentially, imagine a code path frees up an allocated memory object, but another path retains and later dereferences a stale pointer to that exact same object. Because the attacker controls the timing or contents of reallocation over the network, they can slide their own malicious data right into that freed region. It's nasty.
And the sheer scale of this problem, it's massive. Look at this blast radius. It spans almost the entire Apple device portfolio. We're talking about Apple iOS and iPadOS versions prior to 18.7.9 and 26.5. It hits macOS Sequoia prior to 15.7.7, Sonoma prior to 14.8.7, and Tahalo prior to 26.5. It even compromises Apple tvOS, visionOS, and watchOS prior to version 26.5. Basically, if it has an Apple logo on it and it's connected to your network, you've got to assume it's in the crosshairs.
So, the crucial takeaway regarding the impact parameters is this. While confidentiality and integrity aren't directly exposed right out of the gate, the availability impact is categorized as high. With zero privileges required and full remote network reachability, an attacker can easily trigger a denial of service through system termination. And to make matters worse, as SentinelOne research points out, that kernel memory corruption could potentially be chained with additional flaws to achieve an even broader, devastating impact.
Section 4. The protocol. Immediate mitigation.
All right, I am issuing the following mandatory remediation steps for your security teams. Step 1. Apply the relevant Apple security updates immediately to get onto the secure build versions. Step 2. For your managed fleets, you must enforce automatic updates through your mobile device management or MDM policies.
track your patch compliance closely, and flag any vulnerable OS builds. Step 3. As a temporary workaround, you've got to restrict inbound network exposure to your Apple endpoints, disable unused network services, and place vulnerable devices behind network segmentation or a VPN until those patches are fully deployed.
Section 5. Threat Detection and Timeline.
To detect potential zero-day exploitation attempts that might have already hit your network, your SoC needs to monitor specific telemetry. Look for anomalous kernel panics or sudden device reboots clustered across the same network segment. You need to pull crash reports from the Library Logs Diagnostic Reports directory and specifically hunt for freed object dereferences. Finally, correlate those device crashes with your network logs. You're watching for untrusted inbound network traffic spikes immediately preceding the endpoint instability.
The coordinated vulnerability disclosure lifecycle for this threat evolved rapidly, which really proves why real-time intel is so vital. On May 11, 2026, Apple published the initial CVE record to the National Vulnerability Database. Just one day later, CISA ADP escalated it with that 7.5 high-severity score. By May 13th, NIST had already conducted its initial analysis, mapping out the vast amount of affected software. And by May 18th, security firms like SentinelOne were publishing detailed mitigation guides. The window between disclosure and potential weaponization is incredibly narrow, folks.
Finally, Section 6, Security Ethics and Sign-Off. The reason we dissect this intelligence so aggressively is firmly grounded in the core mission of the White Hat community. We practice coordinated vulnerability disclosure because, frankly, secrecy only benefits the adversary. Users absolutely need to know the exact mechanics of a threat to protect their systems. Immediate awareness and rapid operational execution are literally the only true defenses against zero-click exploits targeting the kernel.
So, execute the protocol, patch your perimeters, monitor your telemetry. But seriously, ask yourself, if a zero-click exploit can live in the kernel completely undetected, what else is currently hiding in your network? Until the next advisory, stay secure.